Guys, it's George, and today is day 15 of my annual solid food vacation, my annual fast, and I feel absolutely amazing. And every year when I go into doing this fast, I always set an intention. I believe it's a good idea when you go into a fast to have an intention. Intention. What do you want to gain from it? So this year, my intention for going into this fast was to gain muscle while fasting. I wanted to prove and demonstrate that it is possible to gain muscle while fasting, because that's one of the things that I've been coaching people and working with people for years, and one of the biggest things that I hear from people, especially men, when I encourage them to fast to help meet their fitness goals, whether it's losing weight or gaining muscle, and I encourage them to fast. People just have this paranoia of fasting. Like if they fast for one day, all their muscles are just going to shrivel up and they're going to just turn into like a stick figure. Well, guys, that's the furthest thing from the truth. And as you can see, I've been fasting for 15 days now. And it doesn't look like, I've turned into a skeleton. As you can see, I still got, nice lean muscle mass. And in fact, I feel quite confident that I did gain muscle. I'll put up some of the pictures so you can be the judge for yourself. Yes, obviously I did lose, significant body fat, so that makes the muscles that I do have look bigger, which is definitely a factor. And I may have actually lost some muscle, but what I believe may have also happened, maybe I did lose some unhealthy type of muscle, if there is some, and gained a new type of muscle or whatever. And I know that might sound crazy or whatever, but you got to humble yourself and understand that there's still so much to learn about the human body. The human body is so fascinating and it's so mysterious. And a lot of people think of the human body like like a bank account. That calories in, calories out. Protein is needed to gain muscle, and they just think of it. You need this, many protein grams for body weight and this, that, and they think of the human body like a bank account. When really the human body is more like a chemistry set. Our body and our brains has the ability to create its own chemicals. It can, you can become the alchemist of your own body, and your brain literally has the ability to create its own chemicals. That was worth me repeating. I'm sure you're all familiar with the placebo effect. The placebo, this has been, everybody knows about this. That's when, they give someone a fake drug, for example. They think that they don't know it, and they think that this is going to help them with their illness, their sickness, and the next thing you know, they're healed. And they find out they were taking fake medication. Well, how is this? Well, what science and studies have shown is that the brain, because it believes it so much that it's getting the right medication to heal itself, that the brain actually starts to create its own chemicals needed to fulfill that intention. How wild is that? The brain literally has the ability to create chemicals to mirror, the same effect that a pharmaceutical drug would have on the body. That's how wild that the body is. Such a mysterious. So, and again, that kind of goes into why I made an intention that I wanted to gain muscle while doing this fast. I was setting an intention so that my brain would assist in doing what was necessary to help me to gain muscle in this process. So like I was saying, that our the body is so unique and so fascinating, and about the placebo effect and everything. If that's the case, think about this. Over the past 15 days, I've had little to no protein at all. Really just liquids, just water and a little bit of juice. That's it. Some days, just strictly water, no juice at all. The juice I have had has just been cold pressed vegetables and fruits. And so I'm getting little to no protein. Yet, how am I still able to gain muscle then throughout this process? Because I'm not getting any protein, right? Don't we need protein to gain muscle? Where's the protein, Ma? Right? Everybody, how you about protein? So if that's the case then, that I was able to gain muscle without protein, then that tells us that there's more to the picture than we understand, right? Clearly there's more to the picture. There's more that we need to understand about the human body, that it is not, our body isn't just a bank account, that it just comes down to, putting in protein and that's the end. There's more to the picture. So number one, you got to understand, you can't gain muscle while fasting if you're not doing the activities to gain muscle in the first place. And what I mean by that is exercising and training. If you're just fasting and you're sitting in a hammock on a retreat, in Costa Rica, then you can't expect to gain muscle throughout the process. But I've been training every single day. I've been doing jiu-jitsu and kickboxing and lifting weights, going to the gym. Hundreds and hundreds of push-ups every day, doing my resistance bands. I've been doing this intentionally because my intention was that I wanted to gain muscle. And so when you're doing that, when you're pushing the muscles to failure and breaking down the fibers, they're going to grow back stronger. But since I'm not putting in protein, then wait a second, how could I possibly be gaining muscle while fasting? That doesn't make any sense, right? I'm doing the activity, I'm doing step number one in exercising and strength training, so how could I possibly be gaining muscle since I'm not putting in protein, which is, the mainstream belief, on what is required to build muscle? Well, and that's why I'm saying that there's more to the picture. And what I believe is that, it also has to do, a big critical part of it is our hormones. A lot of people's hormone levels are all messed up. And to be able to begin to fix your body's hormones and to get them working more optimally, you do have to take into consideration all of the elements. So number one, the mind. The brain is so powerful. That's why I'm a big one on meditation and focusing. Every day I've been doing my Wim Hof breathing exercises and then putting myself into intention, believing that I'm going to gain muscle. Trying to use every advantage as possible to allow my body to work its magic, my mind to work its magic into creating new muscle mass. So if you're going after a fitness goal, whatever it is, to lose weight, to gain muscle, start with belief, in believing that you can do it. Visualize yourself losing weight, visualizing yourself with a six-pack, visualize yourself getting stronger, lifting heavier weights, putting on new muscle. Visualize. You got to see it. You got to see it in here first before you can see it physically. And then taking advantage of all the other elements as well. Breathing, oxygen. That's our number one most important supplement, if you will, that we need is oxygen. That's why I'm a big one on the Wim Hof breathing exercises, oxygenating our body. Every day I'm practicing the Wim Hof breathing exercises, oxygenating my body. Good sleep. I have a whole routine for sleep, and I'm going to put out more videos on that. I have some videos on it, but I'm going to, I've updated a lot of things, so I'm going to put out a lot of great content going into detail on my sleep routine and how to get the absolute best quality sleep possible. Because when you're sleeping, that's when your body starts producing a lot of human growth hormones and a lot of good things that are going on. So that way, if you're training throughout the day, that way your body can begin to repair itself and build back stronger muscle while you're sleeping. And then also taking advantage of all the elements. Like I said, a lot of people only focus on the mainstream information when it comes to health and fitness. You gotta eat this many calories, stay away from carbs, need more protein and this and that. But you got to understand, a lot of what we've been told, is misinformation. And you got to do your own research to find out the truth. Nowadays, you really got to turn over every single stone, to be able to find the truth. And you got to make sense of it for yourself. You got to take little puzzle pieces and see what makes the most sense to you. Don't just believe something because you saw it on the news or this they said on the Joe Rogan podcast or whatever. Do your own research and never just believe something just because I said it or anybody said. Do your own research, do your own reading, and see what makes sense to you. But taking advantage of all the elements as well. I'm a gardener, so I love to get outside and have my body just exposed to the sun. We forget the sun is one of our best ways to, get that natural healing, and that's going to help your hormonal system, getting the energy from the sun, at least, for a little while every single day, even if it's just, 10 minutes to get out into the sun, with just as little clothes on as possible. That way you can get, sunbathing. And that's why, people give me a hard time. Why do I do your videos without a shirt on? Put a shirt on, But, if you think about it, humans are the only creatures on the planet that, artificially cover themselves up. And so, our skin, our largest organ, needs to be able to breathe. And when you're constantly covering up your whole body, then, it's not going to breathe appropriately. So that's why, when I'm doing business and stuff, of course, I got to be all covered up. But When I get home, the only thing I wear is shorts. I wouldn't even wear shorts if I didn't have to. But the only thing I wear is shorts, and I'm barefoot because I like my skin to be able to breathe. Again, I'm utilizing all the elements to my advantage. That's the thing about fasting is because you're in such a sensitive state. You really got to take advantage of all the elements. Because right now I'm not getting, the normal sustenance from, food, calories, things like that. So because I'm in such a sensitive state, I need to take advantage of all the elements at my disposal. And so, I like my skin to be able to breathe. That way my hormones can be, optimal. I'm barefoot a lot, I'm just barefoot. So that way, I'm a big one in earthing and grounding. A lot of people wear shoes all the time. And so they're again, humans are like the only creature that, their bare naked skin never connects with the earth. A lot of people go days, weeks, months, even years without connecting their naked bare skin to the earth. And so, every day, even if it's just a couple of minutes, take off your shoes and socks, get outside, ground, connect to the earth. The earth has its own electrical charge and energy. And so, you want to connect up with that. Humans are electrical creatures. We're just basically like big meat batteries. And so connect to the earth every day. That's why I'm always barefoot as much as possible. I like to go outside barefoot, get that energy from the earth. And then sun gazing. I'm a big one on sun gazing. I try to sun gaze, as much as I can. Meaning, I do it in the morning at the sunrise, in the golden hour, which is within an hour from the sunrise, or in the evening at sunset, within an hour before sunset. That's what I call it, golden hour, where you're just watching the sunset. And this is an ancient practice that goes back for a very long time. And I get a lot of my information from very old literature and old books. I love learning from history and the ancients. I just feel we can learn a lot about history. I'm sun gazing, again, utilizing all the elements to our advantage. Just getting out in nature. That's a big reason why I also like gardening. I'm out with plants, and I'm out in nature. There's butterflies around me, and I love going out to like places like Hammock Park, where I'm just walking through the woods and you can feel the energy. I try to get out, in the nature as if I can, at least once a day. And there's been, that's why there's something called forest bathing, which is actually a practice, I believe, in Japan or China, where they've done studies on that. People have high blood pressure and cholesterol. They just simply prescribe them to go into the forest. That's it, for like 15 minutes a day. And they've documented and shown this, how just doing that is almost more, I believe, more effective at lowering people's blood pressure and cholesterol than taking prescription drugs. Because when you're around nature, trees and plants and everything, they give off positive ions, which are actually, or negative ions, I'm sorry, which are actually good for us, And so being by the ocean, that gives us that same, the negative ions, which is, they're positive for us, they're negative, but it's kind of backwards, but, again, utilizing all the elements, these types of things that you don't really hear so much about in the mainstream information. But that's why I like fasting, because you're extra sensitive to all the elements, and you got to use everything at your disposal. And then water, water is the oxygen being the number one most important thing that we need to survive, and then number two, hydration. Water. That's a lot of people don't really put much thought into their water. I haven't really done any videos on this, but that's something I take very seriously, and I do have a system for that. And so I'm going to put out some quality videos going into depth on my water procedure, because water is extremely important for for the body, to be but the right kind of water. A lot of people don't drink the right kind of water, and you may be surprised at the kind of water they drink. But good videos to come on that. And then, and to be patient with the process. Like I've said in other videos, the majority of our health comes from our digestive system. So that's why I've been doing these annual fast, extended fast every single year, and I'm going to continue to do them every single year, because, throughout the whole year, I don't live like a saint every single day. Sure, I put toxic junk back into it, and so that's why it's good as an annual extended solid food vacation to do this as a reset, to help clean everything out. And so, but I've noticed that my digestive system is getting cleaner and cleaner every single year. And this has been the easiest out of all the years that I've done it to do this long fast where, like I said, I've had days where I only drink water. I'm training, I'm running my multiple businesses, I'm a single parent, I'm loaded with energy, and I'm still able to exercise, and yet I'm not putting a lot in it. And so that shows me that, because in the beginning when I was fasting, it was very difficult for me. And I did have a lot of bad, experiences, but I continued to educate, learn, and push myself into it. And through it, I've gotten better at it, and I believe that my body has gotten cleaner. My digestive, the majority of our health comes from my digestive system. And so, when you have, when your digestive system becomes more clean, you get all the mucus and the old feces out of there and the plaque and everything out of there. You can just imagine that because your body is focusing on utilizing less energy to focus on problems, on fixing things, and and fighting diseases that are trying to start, and cancers and different illnesses. The cleaner it is, the more energy that your body has to focus on fulfilling your intentions, like gaining muscle. If that's what your goal is, if you're exercising, you're trying to get stronger, well, the cleaner that your body is and the more efficient that it is, the better that it's going to be able to fulfill your intentions. For example, like building muscle, because it's not wasting energy and focus on solving problems. So that it can focus on what you want it to do. So that's why, like I was saying in the beginning, a lot of times when I'm coaching guys and things like that, they struggle and they fight with the idea of fasting because they feel like they're going to be just, taking steps backwards. But they don't realize that sometimes in life, you do got to take a step backwards so that you can take 2 steps forward. And so when you do the fast, what's going to happen? Yeah, you're going to lose some weight temporarily, but what's going to happen? It's going to clean out the system. It's going to be the beginning of cleansing your body, so that way your body can get into an optimal state, and it can become easier and more efficient for you to put on muscle mass and to get stronger and to become fitter as an athlete and to achieve your health goals. So don't freak out, when I recommend fasting and things like that. I'm suggesting this because I've, learned through my own experience and working with people that this is, one of the most effective ways for gaining new muscle mass is simply by fasting, giving yourself the ability, not saying fast every day for the rest of your life, but just, by beginning to fast, and even if you're just starting with a half a day or 1 day, be proud of yourself, clap yourself on the hand. You know what? Great. And then at another time in the future, plan to do another short fast and see if you can learn, document, diary, journal, all your experiences, what you're going through, and try to see if you can go a little bit further each time and just set that intention of cleaning out your digestive system. And what you will find as the time goes on and you make health your number one priority, not just the mere muscles. I know this video is about gaining muscle, but really, those who know me know that overall optimal health is my number one priority. It's not, the mere muscles. And a lot of people, they're just focused on their aesthetics, fulfilling the ego. Again, this video is just for a demonstration, but really my number one goal is to have optimal health, not just to look good naked. That's just a good side effect. But when you make health the ultimate goal, living a healthy lifestyle, what you're going to find is as your health improves, just everything else just tends to fall into place. As you pour excellence into your health, excellence will just tend to bleed off and pour into all different areas of your life. And that's why, you want to start with, in my humble opinion, the intention of getting to good health, cleaning out the body, so that way it can begin to work efficient. And I think a lot of people have never even experienced what it's like to have real, natural, normal energy, because so many people have been walking around their whole life with a clogged up digestive system without realizing it, and all kinds of stuff in them that they don't realize is slowing them down and achieving their health goals, slowing down their metabolism. It's disrupting their hormonal system. And because of it, it's robbing them of energy, because the body is focusing on the problems that are within. And so the cleaner, that you can get that, you're going to have a lot of extra energy. And it's, a lot of people haven't even experienced what it feels like to just have natural energy, to see how good it feels. And that's why I feel like fasting is just such a simple way to begin to experience this great gift of good natural health as we should be as humans. The human body, the human function should be with great energy, to live a long, healthy lives, not constantly fighting diseases and illnesses and problems and being sick and colds and flus and things like that. The natural human, should have lots of energy and should be strong, should be very strong, and should be fit and have good endurance and be able to, have a brain that's not clouded with fog and be able to think optimally. But it begins, also with understanding and accepting the fact, humbling yourself and accepting the fact that a lot of what we've learned is misinformation. What happens in science is that, when scientists and researchers, they make guesses. They don't really fully understand what's going on, so they make educated guesses, and then they call that their hypothesis, and then the other scientists, whatever is the common collective agreement, the most agreed upon idea, then it becomes theory, and next thing you know, it's all right, this is accepted fact, and it's pushed out, and next thing you know, everybody's regurgitating it like parrots, and we all think that is the ultimate truth. Where you got to humble yourself and accept the fact it's okay to have been wrong, realize that we have so much more to learn about the human body, and to accept the fact that a lot of what we may have learned may have been misinformation, may be incorrect. And the real education and the real learning and the real studying begins once you start your own self-education, going in and reading, constantly getting information from all different sources. And a lot of times, the further you dig and the deeper you go down the rabbit hole, and reading on history books, old books, and doing real research, you'll find that the more you learn, the more you have to learn, and how you have to unlearn and relearn. It's almost kind of like you're going back to school as a kindergarten, like, oh my gosh, everything I've learned my whole life was incorrect. And so you got to start. It's okay to humble yourself and to go back from the beginning, to know that there's still so much to learn, and we have so much to learn. And and the body is just this wonderful mystery that has so much potential. And so I'm excited, to keep tapping into this potential. It's just amazing. So yeah, guys, I hope you can see that, from this fast, 15 days of fasting, I did, clearly gain some muscle. I have more energy, and I feel phenomenal. And, I know I've cleaned out my system a lot between everything I've been doing. And for those of you guys that are new to my channel, hit subscribe and like, and check out all my other videos, because I do have a lot of videos on fasting where I go into details on a lot of other questions on subjects that, on subjects and questions you probably have. I'm actually creating a PDF or a document, if you will, some kind, where I'm right now I'm just aggressively writing down all my notes and everything, so that way I can give